Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to build a general requirements sheet in Excel. If you remember some of my earlier videos explaining how an estimate is put together, this goes at the very top. It's part of the general conditions. Essentially, this is the cost of management. And so the cost of salaries related to a construction project. And then I'll make a video after this one on the rest of your general conditions, which is kind of your material costs for management, trailers and computers and monitors and things like that. So let's get started. So the way this works out is that we're going to allocate cost based on hours per week. And so that way, if we have one project manager and he's 10% involved in the pre-construction phase, and then 100% involved in the operations phase, and then 50% involved in the punch list phase, we're able to accurately capture those costs. One, so that we're not completely ripping off the owner and not completely overinflating our costs, but also two, so we're not underbidding our costs, and we're able to allocate the appropriate amount of money to each person on our project. So let's go ahead and begin. This is a really simple sheet. If you want to pause and just kind of copy what I did, I went to view and turned off grids just for stuff like this. I like to do that. But let's get started. So our project manager, we're going to start with salaries, and in each of these cells, I've clicked the accounting format. And so if you don't know how to do that, just go to number here in the home tab, click this $sign, and that gives you to accounting. We're going to say our project manager, or sorry, senior project manager is at $150,000 a year. And we've got that, so let's just copy and then go down here and make sure we're matching the salaries. Control V and then Control V. Perfect. Uh, Pre-con manager, we're going to say is at $130,000 a year. There we go. And he's not anywhere else. And so this is the pre-construction phase. Estimator, we're going to say $95,000 a year. Project manager, we're going to say is at 145, and we're going to copy his salary down. Superintendent is misspelled. I apologize. Okay, and the project engineer, we'll say 85. Control V, Control V, and then last one is the superintendent, not involved in the pre-construction phase, which is your buyout preparation for the project. We're going to say he's at $100,000. That's $100,000. Perfect. And then Control Copy, Control V. Perfect. Next phase is the hourly rate. And so if you don't know, there are 2,080 work hours in a year, and we're not accounting for any PTO or overtime. These are salaried employees. They're not going to be getting overtime. So equals salary divided by 2080. Perfect. And then we're going to we're going to hold down the shift button, arrow, 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 and then Control D. And now we've got our hourly rates. And instead of retyping the calculation, we can actually just go back to the cell D8, Control Copy, and then highlight all the cells and Control V. And then down here to cell D17, we're going to hold down Shift, arrow, 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 Control V. And now it should be each salary divided by 2080. And this is going to get really important here in a minute. Okay, the next phase, this is probably one of the trickiest parts of building an estimate, especially as a general contractor, is figuring out how many hours a week and which personnel are going to be involved in which phase of the project. So for pre-construction, we're going to say is 2 weeks. And so just kind of for our little reminder, we're going to go to week 1 and week 2 and bold those out. And we're going to say the senior pre-con manager is going to be 10 hours a week. There's 40 hours in a work week. Pre-con manager we'll say is at 20. We'll say that this is one of 2 projects. Estimator we're going to say is at 40. He's full-time buying this project out. We're going to say 30 hours a week for the project manager. Maybe he's finishing off another project, 10 hours a week, and then really trying to hit this project. And the project engineer more than likely 40 hours a week. we have to copy those over. What we can do is highlight all of these cells. Holding down Shift, we can press the arrow button to the right and Control R. And there we go. Okay, now we're going to say in our imaginary project here that weeks 3 through week 7 are the project phase. This is a really short project, and this is actually a lot of management for this short of a project. This is just kind of an example. With this much management, the project would be a lot longer, hopefully. And we're going to go right into this. So senior project manager, we're going to say is 15 hours a week. Project manager, we're going to say is 40. Project engineer 40. Superintendent 40. And we're going to use that trick we learned earlier. Shift all these cells, or shift and hold all these cells. Scroll to the right and press Control R. And we're good. And then the next phase is the punch list. And so we're going to press Control B for this last phase. And we're just going to say it's 40 hours a week for everyone. It is all hands on deck to get all the punch list items done. Control D. Okay, last step, or sorry, not the last step. The next important step is to calculate the cost of each phase for management. And so we're going to press equals sum, open parenthesis, and we're going to highlight all of these weeks, close parenthesis, times, and then we're going to shift over to that hourly rate and press enter. And we're going to go back down, hold down Shift, and press down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, down arrow, Control D. And there we go. So pre-construction phase, we have a total cost of each person for the duration of that phase. And so let's just go down the line, Control Copy. Remember, we can shift all these cells and Control V, just down to N14, and then same thing, Control V. Perfect. Now I've got a few more steps. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how I love the subtotal function, and that's going to come into play here. So we're going to press equals, subtotal, open parenthesis, 9 for a sum, comma, and we're going to highlight all of these cells, close parenthesis, enter. We're going to do that again, equals total, open parenthesis, 9, comma, close parenthesis, enter, and then last one of the punch list equals total 9, 9, comma, highlight, close parenthesis, enter. And this is where it gets really cool. Is we're gonna go back to the subtotal function equals subtotal, and we're just gonna highlight. 9, comma, getting ahead of myself here. We're gonna highlight everything. The word cost, it doesn't matter. All these other cells are covered by those previous subtotal functions, and so we can just go ahead and subtotal this thing. And so our total cost comes out to $61,000 for management. Perfect. That's our cost for general requirements. In your estimate, it's going to it'll probably look like GRs. The last thing we're going to do, just kind of to give this a little bit of depth, we're going to highlight these work cells, the weeks, hours per week that we're working. We're going to press conditional formatting here, highlight cell rules, greater than, and then we're going to press, I just go with 0.01. I know that my smallest number is it 10? With this says light red fill with dark red text. We're going to click that drop down, press custom format. For fill, we're going to go to the top right color, the second, it's the lightest green on the far right side. We're going to click that one. We're going to go to font. Color says automatic. We're gonna just double check that. It's that black color. We're going to press OK and OK. And there we go. All those cells that we put numbers into are now a really nice green color. What we can do is we can highlight these. Double click the format painter. If you click it once, it'll just let you format paint once. If you double click, it'll let you repeat it. And so we're going to highlight these cells in the operations side and then these cells in the punch list side. Make sure to get all the cells, and then we're going to press escape. I like to press escape 2 or 3 times. And there we go. There's a very basic general requirements sheet. Please let me know if you have questions in the comments. Thank you.